Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning, and I felt inspired to share a message from some of the teachings I'm reading from A Course in Miracles this morning. Just for everybody who's not familiar with the Course in Miracles, it is a study guide, a return to peace, so to speak. And there are three parts to the book. There's the main text, there is the workbook, which is 365 lessons, and then there's a couple other sections in the back, a manual for teachers, for those who want to teach A Course in Miracles, and some other information. But I'm in the workbook. I started December 1st, or January 1st, I mean. And so this morning's teachings were really, really profound. And I'm going to see if I can switch back and forth. So this is a review portion of the text. So we've gone up to lesson 50, and then now we're in a review, which is good. It's kind of like it's threaded, and we revisit the same concepts over and over and over. So anyway, yesterday's lesson is 5 different lessons for review, and with some commentary under the lessons. So nothing I see means anything, and what it's the commentary is saying underneath it is no thing I see means anything. And it's because if you see nothing, then what does it mean? And we'll elaborate on that here in just a minute. The second lesson is I have given what I see all the meaning that it has for me. So when you look around you and you see a fireplace, well, what's all the meaning that you've given to a fireplace? And could it be more than what the meaning is? It more than just a place to place some logs and wood and paper and to start a fire and to sit next to it and be warmed up? What else is it actually other than what you've come to know it? Could it be more? The answer is yes. How about the TV? I've given the TV all the meaning it has for me. I expect it to perform the way that I do. And anyway, yes, in a house. What is a house? We have given a meaning to a house of what it is, what its function is, what it's made of, what it's supposed to provide. So lesson number 2 is I have given what I see all the meaning that it has for me. Number 3, I do not understand anything I see. How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. And it's saying that there's no sense in trying to understand, because what we're doing is just projecting our own thoughts onto the world. So that's actually going to get elaborated here in just a minute as well. These thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts which I am aware of do not mean anything, because I'm trying to think without God. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts. My real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God. I'm not aware of them because I have made my thoughts to take their place. And I'm willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything. So when you realize the thoughts that you think, and let me just take a note here too. The word thought implies the past. Thought, it's not thinking, it's not forward moving. Thought implies the past. And so it's reflective. And then the word reflection itself and its etymology means to bend backward, to reflect, like flexion is to bend, and re is back. So thought is a reflection, it's bending backwards, and it's not true. Anything that's true is like a straight line. And so if something is bent and it's not straight, just like the Bible says, God, please make straight my crooked paths, then it's not a true path. So that's what it's saying with thoughts, and that they don't mean anything is because they're not your true thoughts as provided by God, but they're the thoughts that you cover up the truth with, because we've come to know the world as we've given meaning to it. And that's how we judge amiss. So let's continue. I'm never upset for the reason I think. I'm never upset for the reason I think is I'm constantly trying to justify my thoughts. I'm constantly trying to make them true. I make all things my enemy so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. How accurate is that? When you're upset during the day and you're pointing fingers, and if it wasn't for this person, or if it wasn't for this situation or this circumstance, I would be happy. And so anger is coming up in you, and then we're trying to find out, who can I take my anger out upon? What's causing my anger as outside of me? And we really, really do believe that our anger comes from outside of us, but ultimately it's yours. It's our own choosing. Nobody can control how you can choose to feel, but we just feel so victimized. And as a victim, naturally, we're going to want to go out and attack the thing that we believe causes our injustice. Okay, let's continue. So and then we'll wrap up here. Here's today's lesson 52. I am upset because what I see is not there. I am upset because what I see is not there. Now, I'm upset because what I see is not there ties all the way back to nothing I see means anything, and I have given what I see all the meaning that it has for me. So if I'm upset because what I see is not there, I'm looking at my illusions. Again, I have an illusion, a belief about what all of this means in my house, but it's not true. It's just the meaning that I've come to give it. So if I look around at my circumstances and I'm feeling upset, I am upset because I've given all the meaning to something that's not truly there. It's just my thoughts. I'm upset because I see what is not there. Reality brings only perfect peace. When we can accept things as they are, then we're not judging. We're not putting our meaning upon what's there. When I'm upset, it is because I have replaced reality with illusions that I made up. The illusions are upsetting because I have given them reality and thus regarded reality as an illusion. So when I'm looking out at the world, I'm not seeing the world for what it is. I'm seeing it for how I've come to understand it. Everything. You have a cup that you drink coffee out of, and you've given the meaning. Everything you have, you've given the cup the meaning, all the meaning that you've already given it. What its function is, what it's made from. If you drop it, you know it's going to break. But again, could it be more than what I've come to know? Well, that's what we have to search here for. How about a book? Same thing with the book. We've come to know tables and chairs and cabinets and microwaves and refrigerators all through experience, and we come to build a foundation upon what we can trust as being what we think it is. And what A Course in Miracles is teaching us is that it's much more than what we think it is. And then when we're upset, it's because we're holding on to the past. We're holding on to the world functioning as the way that we've come to know it to function. And when it's not functioning that way anymore, then we have this illusion, these thoughts that don't mean anything, and that we get upset about because we expect it to function just the same. I see only the past. This is what I was just talking about. I see only. You look around your house, I see only the past in this house. I've come to know a house as made of wood and drywall and electrical wiring behind it, and it's here to support me from being protected from weather and blah, 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 blah. I see only the past. And then when there's a problem with your house and it's not functioning the way that you hoped, you're upset. You're upset because what you see is not there. It's in your head. Now, touch on that a moment too. So let's say that there is one of the walls starts falling apart, or there's a leak in your house. So you can't deny that, hey, that's problematic. So what do? Do you either stay in your head, oh my God, it's going to get worse, and the whole house is going to collapse, and I'm going to have to pay all this money, and we create this whole scenario. Again, I'm upset because what I see is not there, and those things are not there yet, but we're getting upset because we're projecting that this is probably going to happen, and I don't have the money, and I don't have the time to deal with this right now. And so you see there's all these fucking thoughts in our head of what we were upset because what we see is not there. When you look at the problem and you think, okay, there's the problem, it's got to get solved. Okay, God, what do I do about it? Well, let's start making some phone calls. Let's get some quotes. What are the resources that I'm going to need? How can I come across those resources? Capital, money, whatever it is that you need. And resources come a bunch of different ways. But if you think that money can only come from my job, and I only have a limited hours of work amount that I can work at my job, then again, you're creating something that's not there. But resources can come in so many different ways. You start reaching out to friends and family or communities or organizations who provide support, and problems become resolved somehow. Maybe not the way that we want them to, but they become solved. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. So we continue on. I see only the past, which is, the worry. If I see a leak or the wall is coming apart, the whole house is going to fall down because that's what I saw in movies, or it happened to a friend of mine, or whatever. I only see the past, and my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. And I kind of take this too as survival. The mind is preoccupied with the past because of survival in the human condition. I see only my own thoughts, and my mind is preoccupied with the past. What then can I see as it is? And you may have been wondering this, is if we're looking around, what else is a cup other than to drink water out of? What else is a chair to sit in and a table to eat or read off of, or just stack a bunch of shit that you don't need and unwilling to throw away on top of it? What then can I see as it is? Let me remember that I look on the past to prevent the present from dawning on my mind. This was huge for me this morning. Let me remember that I look on the past to prevent the present from dawning on my mind. So right now, even as you're finished with this video, you have thoughts that are already in your head. What does this mean? Do I accept it as true? Do I disagree? I still have errands to run. I got to go grocery shopping. I got to take the kids to practice. I got to do this. I got to do that. I'm upset because I see what is not there, and I see only the past. All the things that you think you have to do today, or all the things that you've ever done before in the past, and you think that you need to do them, and you're upset and overwhelmed because you see what is not there. Because you're not looking at reality, you're looking at the illusions that you've given reality. Reality is everything as it is here, as it is. And what's upsetting about any of this, other than your past thoughts about it? Okay, last two. I see nothing as it is now. It can truly be said, I see nothing. I see nothing as it is now. This goes back to, I'm upset because I see what is not there. And it goes back to, nothing I see means anything. And I have given what I see all the meaning that it has for me. I see nothing as it is now because I'm constantly projecting and giving my own understanding and meaning and thoughts about it. My thoughts do not mean anything. I have no private thoughts. Yet it is only private thoughts of which I am aware. What can these thoughts mean? They do not exist. And so they mean nothing. And what it means by exist is, let's take fear. Most of us are familiar with that acronym FEAR, false evidence appearing real. So if there's an illusion doesn't truly exist. Something that's made up, some idea that we've accepted in our lives, and we find references for it in the world. And so then, as A Course in Miracles said too, that we find ways to justify our anger, right? We find ways to justify our own injustices. And so we look for references and we say, see, look at all these different references, it must be true. But if it's fear, is it truly true? Is it really true? Or is it our own thoughts making shit up and then wanting to go into the world and find ways to make it real? So they do not exist, and so they mean nothing, which again goes all the way back. Nothing I see means anything, because what I see, I have given all the meaning that it has for me. Therefore, my thoughts do not mean anything. Yet my mind is a part of creation and part of its creator. Would I not rather join the thinking of the universe than to obscure all that is really mine with my pitiful and meaningless private thoughts? And we know our thoughts aren't really truly private, unfortunately. So many of us are intuitive, we're present, and we can enter a relationship, and I don't mean intimate relationship, I mean even with a stranger you're standing next to in line at the grocery store, a salesperson, somebody that you're speaking with, and you know when they're being deceiving. You know things that you can't particularly put your finger on, but you get a sense of what the other person is intending. And so our thoughts are never private anyway. So would you rather join with the thinking of the universe, or would you rather join with the false self and the thinking and the illusions and continue to be upset and look to the world to justify your attack thoughts? I'll leave you with that. Happy Saturday. Cheers.